All right, here we go. We are administrative tasks and ta-da! It is another Thursday night, and that means that it's another night for the GBL Gab. Here we are on Thursday. It's 8 o'clock, and we've got some stuff to talk about. We are in the midst of like the beginning of summer. It's kind of weird. Um, yeah, just it's been a hectic man. I feel like I have not been able to take a break for weeks. It's been very, very busy in the real estate world. But then at the same time, we are looking forward to I'm looking forward to June and the swimming pool, and it's gonna be awesome. So anyways, thanks for joining us tonight. I know that we've been kind of off and on a little bit so far the last couple of months. Life and kids and this happens. So but we're gonna talk real estate. I've got some very interesting developments that I'm seeing, some updates on other developments. And yeah, we are talking through that. But then also, we're going to talk like really specific real estate a little bit because the market's been just interesting. And we're still busy at the same time. So without further ado, I hope you guys have grabbed your beverage. Drinking a rosé, and honestly, I forget, Mark, what I'm drinking, like what the name is, but I know it's good, and the label looks like a prism. It's really fun. I buy a bottle of this usually in the summertime from the tasting room in Travelers Rest, which is just always very refreshing, and I like it, especially as the temperature decides to get warmer, which has been interesting here the last couple of weeks. No, the last couple of days. Yesterday it was almost chilly the last like 2 days here in Greenville, which has been weird. We normally this time of year we're 80s, 90s already. It's summertime, so it's getting hot. We're doing the South Carolina the South thing. But I think yesterday it was in the 60s all day, and we were very interested. It was very interesting just to see. Like I had to wear a jacket. It was odd. And the kids had to wear a jacket. But anyways, so without further ado, we've got a couple things to talk about. We're going to dive straight into the real estate talks. But before we get into too much, do me a favor. If you're watching on here, let me know where you are watching from, and because it's always fun. You never know. There's people from all over the country, sometimes all over the world, watching it. And our point here is to answer your questions live about the area, about things that are coming soon. And if I know the answer, I'll let you know. If I don't, then I'll just tell you I'll find out. And excuse me. So it's to create a community and to have fun, get to know some people, and go from there. So without further ado, let's go over to the comments and see what we've got. Hey, hello to the Walshes. I got to meet them this week and have lunch, which that is something that you guys can do if you come into town and you're not necessarily looking to buy right that very moment or think, I'm a person, I like you guys, can be my friend. And let's go out to lunch. So I got to meet Henry and the Walshes, and then it was just good conversation. It was lovely to get to know them. I apparently need to come and sit at the park. And yes, I know I'm missing the concert, which I'm jealous that you are getting to do it. Let's see here. What else we've got? Hello. Next year, hey, we've got another Gilbert, Arizona. Look at this. Love it. 285,000 people to the Easley area. Let's do it. Would love to help. Then, are you liking Pinestone? You just moved here, right? Closed on your house, everything. And then let's see. Hey, Todd, how's it going? Oh, and you see there we go. Watching, oh, man, from Banff, Alberta. Man, that is somewhere I want to visit someday. That is so cool. Hey, Cynthia, how's it going? Okay. Oh, Cynthia, how's the house sale going? Hope everything's going well there. All right. So just in the comments saying hello, see where everybody is watching from tonight. And yeah, here we go. Oh, look at you. You're closing on your house on Monday. Wow. So great. So great. Let's see here. And then love Pine Stone. Okay, so I have to ask you, are you a wine drinker and have you gone to the tasting room? I'm usually there in the afternoons, like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and they have a group called the Pine Cones. It's a thing, which I love. They're hilarious, and I love seeing the group show up. Yes, send me an email or something. We'll get in touch. The QR code actually will get you in touch with me too. So, which means that like I should say something about the QR code. So the QR code that is over here, right here on the screen, is a direct link to our website. So if you are interested in the area, or say you're just joining us for the first time, and you're like, hey, we're thinking about the area. We're thinking about making the move potentially, but we're just doing our research. Our team actually sends out relocation packages that have lots of information about Greenville, the surrounding areas. It has lots of maps and some swag that we send along. It's actually, I've been adding so many different things to it that at this point I'm thinking about it may end up having to become a box instead of just a envelope. So, oh, Mark, you're right. So, guys, for you guys that are in town, the Rouleaus are coming into town, and we should totally do this. I'll have to talk to you guys about if we can do a meetup or something at Coffee Underground. That would be fun. You guys are coming into town in July. I'll have to look at my calendar. It's like June or July, and we'll do that. It would be so much fun. Oh dear. All right. So with all of that, you guys in the comments, let me know your questions or anything like that. I'll be monitoring them. But let's go ahead and talk about some real estate and what is happening here in the area. So we have seen a slowdown. This has been very interesting. We're still selling houses. Resales, however, are definitely slowing down. And it's something where I'm kind of going, okay, we're still selling houses. It's not a problem, but we are seeing inventory increase. And that's something that when we're paying attention, and I do a deep dive on these things once a quarter. It is something that I quite often am a little interested on what exactly we are going to see moving forward. So we know interest rates have kind of leveled out. They're sitting in the 6s right now. You can buy interest rate points. You can buy the points down. You can get into a 5%. I've even heard of some 4% interest rates. This is all normal. But what I am seeing, and this is just curiously, like, it's just curious. We're seeing houses hit the market and sit. and they're sitting for longer. And we're trying to figure out like, okay, well, is it a pricing thing? Is our market slowing down? Is it cooling off? Is it becoming more of a buyer's market? Technically, according to the inventory numbers, we are still in a seller's market, even though houses may sit for upwards of 30 to 60 days before they sell. And that's normal, completely normal. So let's go into, let's look over here. Let's look at our stats. So moving here, right here, we are already seeing, look at this, a 24.5% increase. But then we've also seen we're up 26% in volume. Average price, median price, these are numbers to watch. This means that prices pretty much are staying the same. They are not seeing drastic appreciation. We're also not seeing depreciation. We are seeing a market adjustment a little bit at the moment. I was talking to a friend today and I said, look, what's happening? We all have listings that are just sitting. And the consensus was houses are just overpriced. And I think we're in for a little bit of a correction, meaning if you want to sell your house, price it on the lower side and you will actually sell your house for the current market price. If you price for where you hope it will sell, you're probably overpriced. And that's something to think of. So I've been really paying attention to our housing market for 3 different things. We're looking at price, we're looking at condition, and we're looking at location. Now, two of those things I can address. We can control a little bit. Condition and price. You can always change the price, and you can change some of the condition of a home. Location, I can't change anything. So that's very market specific. We have a certain area of the market that homes are great in that area, but when you look at everything on paper, it takes longer for it to sell. So when we're back over here and we're looking at the statistics, goodness, gets tickled. So when we look at these statistics, I want you to look at this. Days on market year over year through the end of March, we are up. I'm very interested to see the updated version of this once we get through May, a little bit longer. Let's see here. Our median price, we're up just a little bit, but this 1.6 means we're basically staying the same. We are not appreciating as much. This is where I tell people we're usually at a 3 to 7% appreciation rate whenever you look at the entire upstate. And here we go. We see that slow, steady march to a higher days on market. We are quickly approaching 2 months of inventory that just for average days on market. That's wild. From where we were just 2-3 years ago during the COVID years. Here we are, we're still seeing more houses sold. So 2024, I'm very interested still to see what 2025 numbers end up being. So this is just one of those things that constantly I want to look at. I want to get a pulse on the market. And that's what I'm seeing. I've worked with a lot of realtors here in the area that have been licensed for, let's say, 2-3 years. And I'm seeing a significant lack of skill. And this is just something that, how do I say this nicely? In the market of the moment, we need to follow our data and we need to follow where housing prices are going. We need to know what's making it sell, what's keeping it on the market, and really having good, solid conversations around things. So just, again, it's those conversations that I want to make sure I have. And if you guys have questions, let me know. That's what we're here for. Okay, let's go over the comments, see what we've got going on. A couple questions here. All right. John has a question about Meritage Homes. I have a former teammate that actually works for Meritage. She's lovely. Her name is Lauren. So the question is, let's just talk about Meritage Homes. Here's what I like. One of my favorite things about a Meritage home. It is the inside of the walls. So not necessarily the curb appeal, or they're nice houses, but they do tend to get pretty cookie cutter. But the inside of the walls, the roof, the insulation, how they put in the electrical, all of those things. It's a very well-built house. How do I look like a quality build? I have confidence saying that. I've sold many Meritage homes. And what's cool is their agents know the product as well. Now, it is a product that, for the most part, you get exactly what you see. You don't get to go to a design center and pick out details. They are a spec home builder, so they have lots of inventory always on the market. And they listen to the consumer and they listen to realtors, I think, better than any other builder that we have here in the upstate. So my quick 2 cents about it. Aubree Groupies, that's funny. Mark's coming in July. Okay, we'll have to do a meetup in July. Let's see here. Okay, what do we anticipate for a 2026 market forecast in the western suburbs of Greenville? Interesting. Can I tell you that that's okay? The western side, we're going to go to, let's go look at my map here. This is, let's go look at a map. I have it pulled up in the wrong screen. So let's do this. And I'm going to share my screen so that you guys can see what I'm working on. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the back end of the MLS. It's where the houses from Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, all those other websites, where they come from. They have to go into this website first. So I tell you what, I am going to plug in just house prices, at least an acre and wooded. And if you have a price point, that helps me out. So if you see, there's 606 houses on the market that have an acre or more. Wife needs to be near home goods. That is a dangerous place, but I know what you mean. Within how much, what is your driving distance and what is your price point here? Let's say we've got a minimum price of like $300-400. That's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And then let's go to a map. And I've noticed they've actually, wow, they've updated my system here. Used to be that was not, I just had that up all the time. Huh. All right, anyways, near a home goods. Which means that you are most likely trying to be right in here around Woodruff Road. So I would suggest looking out towards Reedville's not too terribly far. It's about 15 minutes from this location where the home goods is. Let's see here. You say under 500. Got it. And then let's go Simpsonville down to Malden. Let's look this way. And then let's come over here and put a top price point. We narrowed it down from 606 to 8. That's always fun, right? So there we go. A couple different house choices. Simpsonsville, Fountain Inn. Couple in Fountain Inn. Fountain Inn is one of those fun places that is definitely, it's up and coming. So what I say by this is it's not a bad place to live right now. It's a small town. And it's got Traveler's Rest vibes. So if you've been around or you've watched videos about Traveler's Rest, you know that it's very community focused. They love their little downtown. They love just that walkability. They've really focused in on stuff like that. Like Traveler's Rest is very walkable. Fountain Inn is not far from it. And being able to look at this and say, okay, where are we looking? So if we're looking in Fountain Inn, for example, ooh, this isn't bad. If you're looking for more new construction, there is newer homes out there. This is 1.8 acres. Looks like it's an older home that's been renovated, I think. Very nice. It has a fresh coat of paint. Decent floors. Looks like those have been renovated. Interesting layout here. Huh. Kitchen, so on and so forth. Looking at all of this stuff. So just gives us an idea. This is the type of thing that I do with my clients, by the way. So we look at the area, we narrow down the searches, and we look for active homes. So that's something that we do pretty well, pretty easily. All right, let's come back over here to comments and look. What area of the upstate has the highest percentage of homeowners versus rentals? So that's an interesting question, Todd. I would say that it really is dependent more upon the neighborhood. There's a price point that you see a lot more rental properties in. So here in the upstate, I would say if that neighborhood is not an HOA, you see a lot more rental properties. Then also, if you see like a low, like below 400,000 is usually more rental properties. And then townhomes have, after they've been through, goodness, about a year, 2 years worth of ownership, you start seeing the townhomes renting out. Now, HOAs, and this is why I say HOAs and price point dictate a lot of things. When it comes to rentals, a lot of the HOAs here back, I want to say about 3 to 4 years ago, a lot of the HOAs here in the area went in and they made adjustments to their covenants because we started seeing on a national scale these big buyers, investment buyers coming in and starting to buy up neighborhoods and turn into rental properties. And so a lot of these neighborhoods with HOAs put in a rental cap, meaning that it's either a percentage or it's a number of rentals a neighborhood can have, which I don't think is a bad thing if it is appropriately thought through. The last neighborhood that I lived in had a pretty strict HOA, and the HOA, I think that there were 28 houses in the neighborhood, 30 houses in the neighborhood, and the HOA restricted it to 2, maybe 3 rentals in the entire neighborhood. And it was at a little bit of a higher price point, so 500,000-600,000. Was the price point in the city of Travelers Rest. So it's definitely one of those things that we are looking at. And I'm helping a few people actually purchase rentals in Greenville right now. They do hold their rates really well. So if that's something you're interested in. Let's see here. Oh, I love this. Hello from Florida. I'm so excited you get to work with Christy. She's awesome. I'm trying to get her in on one of my videos, so maybe you guys can help me convince her. Taylor's has leased rentals. I think it goes back to the neighborhoods and the specific areas. Some of the older neighborhoods that maybe don't have the HOAs, or they are I would say a middle, like an average or below average price point, you're going to see more rental properties. It's just how that goes. Oh dear. You've learned to hate HOAs. Yeah, I think they're a blessing and a curse. I think that they really can be a good thing for a neighborhood, keep it clean, so on. But then we have my parents' HOA, which they have the Karen that lives down the street. And I'm sorry if your name is Karen. It's nothing against it. We have a person down the street that is less than desirable. They made one of their neighbors cry last week because they didn't like the kids stepping on 20 inches of their yard. It was a whole thing. So, and yes, I can tell you what neighborhood that is later. Let's see here. This is a really good question. And we'll use the second. So just before, I've got a whole bunch of things that I want to talk through tonight because there's some really cool things coming to Greenville. So we'll use the second half of tonight to go over that. But this one's pretty interesting. What is the number one reason why people are moving out of Greenville? That's great. I'm actually going to leave this up. So I've experienced this in some different ways. Mostly when I hear about people moving out of Greenville, it's because they're moving out for a job, just job relocation. Every so often, the other reason I hear most people moving is for family, just to live closer to family. Those are the two reasons. If I'm helping somebody relocate out of the state, it's because they got a new job or they're relocating for family. I don't think I've actually helped anybody sell their home for another reason that's relocating out of the state. And I'm helping quite a few people that are actually going through divorces right now. And some of them have moved out of the state because they got a new job in a different state. And so that's primarily it. I don't hear of anybody else of any other reasons other than job relocations and family. Todd, I agree with you. Homeowners do have more pride in their properties. And when you get a good tenant, I have rental property and I have a lovely tenant who is very appreciative, and I'm going to keep them as long as possible. But if they want to buy a house, I guess I can help. John, Christy was not in the office, so no, she did not get to meet Henry. Let's see here. I am actually going to be showing the Seneca area. Now, here's what I think about Seneca. Yes, there's things to do. Yes, you are closer to some area, but it is considered more of a small town. My biggest hang up on Seneca is that it's further away from things than I personally like to be. So it takes quite a while to drive to, like, I like being close, like very close to some grocery stores. I like to be closer into what I would call like your main drag of things. I don't want to drive more than 30, 45 minutes for my regular day-to-day things. So that's just me. Seneca is okay. I'm going to be out in Seneca as well this weekend. And I know Christy talked to me about y'all's search and what you were looking at. And so we've been comparing notes because I have a client who's looking a little bit lower price than where you are, and they like the Seneca area. But for me personally, it's just a little bit further out there. I know many people that live in the area who love it, and but it is just smaller. But it's closer to the lakes, so I do like that. If you like lake living. So you have an excuse to have a boat. So we go from there. Let's see here. Yep, Cynthia, these people are older and they don't have kids, and they definitely have grandkids. And I was appalled that they made my parents' neighbor cry. It was terrible. Let's see here. Ooh, this is a good one. Can you explain the tax on vehicles? You're bringing your RV and heard it will be 10% tax every year. Is that true? So yes, vehicles get taxed here in South Carolina. Instead of having a higher property tax, they tax your vehicles. What that exact property tax is on the vehicles, it is something that gets paid every year, and it changes depending on the make, the age, the mileage. It does, so the older the vehicle, the lower the tax goes. We pay taxes on 4 different vehicles, and it is not fun in February whenever we pay all of it. There's not much more for me to say other than it's basically, instead of your property taxes being higher, it's taxes on your vehicle. It's property taxes. Let's see here. What areas around Greenville have a lot of homeschool families? I can tell you this, a lot of the upstate has different homeschool families. You will find this, you'll find there are some lovely but very large co-ops all over the upstate. Are they specifically in one area or another? I can tell you pretty confident that whether you live in Greenville, Easley, Travelers Rest, Simpsonville, Greer, Fountain Inn, Spartanburg, there's a lot of homeschool co-ops, homeschool families, homeschool partnerships, everything here in the upstate. So, okay. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the things that we have to talk about tonight. And first one's just kind of fun for me because, as you guys can see, I love to read. So it always excites me whenever I see any type of bookstore or anything with books coming around the upstate. Give you the teeny tiny bookstore. Little pink truck driving around town. It's Greenville's newest bookstore. So this little truck, I have actually seen it, and it's fun. So Swoon Booksellers is a mobile wagon, and it is selling romance novels. Now, this is hilarious. It's painted pink, and it is absolutely the cutest thing ever, but it's a small business and you can follow it on Instagram. So just Greenville has these types of small businesses that pop up on a pretty regular basis. So if you like romance novels, there you go. All right, let's go on to the next one. So I would say that Greenville has more festivals soon as the weather gets nice, as soon as, like, it's almost every weekend there is something to do here in the upstate. So the Greenville Jazz Fest is here this coming weekend. So if you are here, you will find this downtown. It is the 3rd year, and it's live music all up and down Main Street. It is a free and open event. What I love is that there is a schedule because I want to go, well, when does it start and where are my people? And who is it that I'm interested in seeing? And this is something that I get excited whenever we see the live arts. So live music, people, like, that's something that Greenville is just very, very aware of, and they're making sure that, I mean, it's always expanding, always growing, always having something community focused that you get to be a part of here. So last week was the Scottish Games, and that was on Furman's campus. Then the weekend before that was Artisphere, or was it the weekend before that? It was Mother's Day weekend that Artisphere happened. And that's kind of the kickoff to the big events that are downtown, and they shut down Main Street, and it's incredibly walkable. And parking is not terrible. Do prepare to pay for parking though whenever you're downtown. So the Jazz Festival is just one of those that I really, I've never had the opportunity to go, but I do like jazz music. And so it is located from Augusta Street to Court Street. And this is fun. I love it. Seeing these community events is one of those things that makes Greenville so awesome. There's also vendors that come out. So food vendors, that's something that I think is kind of an added bonus. You have local restaurants that will specifically like tailor their food to the event. And it's fun. I love it. All right, let's go over here. Mark, you figured out the number one reason people move out. They are tired of hearing the upstate. Oh my goodness. Well, come on. Let me tell you this. I go back and forth because whenever I refer to Greenville, a lot of, Mark, you win the observation award tonight for my jacket. It's one of my favorites because Wonder Woman is my favorite superhero. She's also my phone background. So whenever it's not in my family. But anyways, when I refer to Greenville, I am saying Greenville as like Greenville County. It's all encompassing. Then at the same time too, Greenville downtown, I refer to it's just a blanket statement, which is cool. Oh, biggest gripe about the area other than traffic. What an interesting question. Biggest gripe about the area other than traffic. Well, I live in Travelers Rest. And I would love like another grocery store option, I think. There is, so it's not traffic necessarily, but it is roads related. So the roads here, they are not maintained like other areas. It is not abnormal to, like, there are certain roads in Greenville that are they're terrible to drive on. Let's see here. This is more specific to me. I drive a lot of new construction areas because I'm selling those houses. I replace all 4 of my tires at least once a year because I get nails in them. So that's new construction related. And let's see. My biggest gripe, honestly, is the locals. Oh, this is it. Here we go. My biggest gripe about the area, about Greenville, the upstate, everywhere, is the locals that live here and they get upset about the growth. And they get upset that there's new things coming. I'm very much along the lines of if we're not growing, we're dying. And so something has to be growing. And we have some people who live here in the area that they miss out on some really awesome things because they are opposed to change. So that's my biggest thing is people who are here locally that want to keep a small town. And the thing is, if you actually understood the area, the local government, how money works, where things go, maybe these locals would stop saying that it's full. If they actually lived somewhere else and knew that we really have a great thing here. So that's my personal biggest gripe, and that is a opinion. So, all right, let's see here. John got to experience Greenville's rush hour, which is not a rush hour. Ooh, okay, let's see here. Yes, locals versus transplants. Locals are just okay, so we've had a big thing happening in Travelers Rest with there was a hotel that was going to be built. And I'm on a unique side where I can see the city government because of what my husband's profession is. There was such a missed opportunity, and seeing how awful the people were to our mayor, who really had very little say or decision in everything, was incredibly disheartening. When the transplants, people who moved here, were probably some of the more encouraging, nice, kind people about it. I said what I said. There we go. All right. Yes. Okay. So this is something I've been answering this question a lot, where it is with an HOA, can you plant a tree or add a fence to your property when you want to? With an HOA, you have to usually submit it to a design board. Very rarely are they ever going to come back and say no. HOAs here in the area are not as, like, there are some very strict ones. What I have experienced, because I've been negotiating a lot of fencing into my contracts, actually, I've been getting very creative with my buyers. I haven't had any problems doing this. You want to plant a tree? Plant a tree. I don't think you have to ask about that. Now, if you're going to plant something invasive, or what is it? Is it the Bradford pear tree here? I think that's what it is. Or maybe it's another tree. There's a tree that has little white blossoms and it stinks up to high heaven. So that might be the type of tree that you can't plant because it's actually, they don't want you planting those. But those are my 2 cents on it. Let's see here. All right. Let's talk about Susan's question really fast. It is a Bradford pear tree. Okay. Let's talk about this. All right. So again, I have a unique look on crime. Now, there are some really cool website resources out there that, and Michael, if you're paying attention, maybe we found a really good crime heat map that you can actually go in super, like, hyper local, street by street, and go and look at the crime rates and see what type of crime. I think that's the key to any area, is what type of crime is it? Because there's crime everywhere. We know this, period. There's crime everywhere. The kicker to it is, are you seeing property crime, violent crime? What type of crime is it? Is it a really small town and it's property crime? Is it domestic? What is it? And I think that is what we have to pay attention whenever we're talking about crime in Greenville, because there are wonderful neighborhoods in every location. Specifically, like, there's a certain area of Greenville that is street by street. You have 2 or 3 really nice streets because they've been renovated, updated, they've torn down old houses, they've built new houses. You go 2 streets over and there's a drug deal happening. Like, there are areas of Greenville like that, but it's very specific to a certain area. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have told you, like, hey, there are certain areas that, like, I'm not going to go down that street. As a realtor, I have gone to show property in some areas that I wasn't quite familiar with. And I've called my client and said, you're not going to buy a house here because of what I just saw happening down the street. Um, at the same time, like with my husband being in law enforcement, so he used to work for Greenville City, the Greenville City Police Department. Then you see like now he works for Travelers Rest City. But then there's Greenville County, and we have friends across all departments, and they pretty much say the same things. Like they know which areas aren't that great. They know which areas you're going to find your property crime. There's always going to be people, unless you live in like a gated neighborhood where people really can't come in, that come and they try all the car handles. Property crime is pretty much what we see the most of. I know that there's more violent crime when you look out in like Anderson and Spartanburg. There's definitely areas out there that I'm like, you need to pay attention. So Michael is in our comments. Yes, this one. Okay, crimegrade.org. This is the website that we saw. This is the heat map. I think let me see if I can't pull it up really fast. I think it's a great, let's see here. Yep. And so this is I just thought this was so cool that you can go and see. Let's see here. So this is downtown Greenville, and you see how, man, there's all these ads on this thing. Golly, skip ad, go away. Go away. All right, so you have crime grades. So we have Greenville, and it grades it by the green area. And I think this is so this is an overall crime map. And let me zoom out a little bit here so you can just see. So you can see like the Spartanburg area gets a whole lot more red. You also have population density happening in these areas. So a lot more people. So crime rates will be higher, but look at this. You have a lot of green areas too. And this is where people start to spread out. I will say Anderson, the southern side of Anderson has some places, but again, closer to the city of Anderson, you're going to have more crime. But you can go and you can change the map, and you can go, okay, well, let's look at property crime, and let's pull it out and say, okay, well, what does the property crime specifically look like? I would be most concerned, and if you look here, you can see that the green areas, those are what we're looking at. Violent crime, let's go. So this would be what I am most concerned with, I think. So if downtown Greenville, you have a lot more of that violent crime. Anderson, you have a lot more. Again, you have these same areas that are all green, and this is just where people tend to spread out a little bit. Simpsonville, Malden, these areas, Travelers Rest, Greer. This is where Spartanburg gets a pretty bad rap, but if you look at the combination, look at the comparisons. And again, this is the internet. So here we go. You can look by zip code here. I do think that this is just a really great resource whenever you are looking at the crime statistics. This is probably my favorite one that we have looked at. It breaks it down like this, but here's what I can tell you. When it comes to crime and what we are looking at here in the upstate, I would say that, and I'm looking at a specific neighborhood, or specific zip code. This is really good whenever you start looking at exactly where you want to live and narrowing it down to exactly, okay, what is this? So crimegrade.org, it's one of the coolest websites that I've found that really helps see, because this is hyper local in here. So we have the Greenville Downtown Airport. then you have the city of Greenville. You're going to have more crime in cities. It's just going to happen. And just because, don't let the colors fool you. This is like, it's specific. So, and I'll tell you too, looking at this, there are some of these areas, I'm like, yeah, you have more crime because you just have, you have a higher density, lower, I hate to say it this way, but lower income, more crime happens. Some beautiful areas, some beautiful homes, some lovely communities that are very focused in on the people who live there. But it is something that, I'd want to make sure that we look at. Oh, Michael, thank you. So Michael's pretending to be me in the comments, and he says places like the downtown airport don't have anybody that lives there. So being dark red just means there's nobody that really lives there. So if there's a crime that happened there, like there's nobody that really lives in that area, or very few people live in that area. So the crime rate looks pretty bad. So it's crime rate per 1,000 residents. Some of these areas don't even have 1,000 residents that live specifically in that block. So just view with discretion is what I would say. And don't take it as gospel. Do your research, drive the areas, and let's specifically look, because some of these areas are lovely. I hope I answered that question well. So Susan here. When you visited, you didn't really see homeless people or homeless camps. And that is true. So here's the thing about Greenville and crime rates and such. And then also when you're looking at homeless camps. Now there are. I walked in an area, drove in an area here very recent, and I was shocked at they had created this little area, this little niche of, there were a lot of homeless people. But here's the thing about Greenville City is you're not allowed to panhandle in Greenville City. You have to keep moving. You cannot beg on street corners. There is a homeless camp within city limits, and it's pretty insulated where it's at. But my husband says this: if you go hungry in Greenville or don't have a place to sleep, it's because you're not trying. And it is an issue. I think it's an issue a little bit everywhere in every city. But there are a ton of resources here for our community that, for our veterans, for our mental health people that they need help, because I know that there's so much more that goes to be involved in all of this. So there's a specific, we'll call it like a strip, where all of the different soup kitchens are and the homeless shelters are. And if you're looking specifically in downtown Greenville, I will tell you where that is if you are looking, because I would want to know. There you go. So, all right. So with that, okay, I've got a couple minutes, and we got a couple more things that I want to chat through, because we have some fun stuff that's coming here in Greenville. Because let's see here. So this is something that I have heard about this coming soon. And for years, Greenville has been trying to do this, and I hope it actually happens. So Greenville receives 3 proposals for a downtown conference center. Now, I don't know if that means that we're looking for a possibility of being able to have a 10,000 person conference. I go to conferences that are upwards of 18,000 people that show up. And those are in the big cities like Dallas, Vegas, Anaheim, places like that. But having a bigger conference center here in Greenville, I think would be a lot of fun. And so looking at this, it's there were 3 proposals that were submitted back in April to city council, city leadership. And I think this is really cool. Just being able to see that Greenville is really looking. There's some very big projects that are happening here locally, downtown, around downtown. And this kind of leads me into this article, which I feel like I could do an entire long video on this about the developments of downtown. So there are, and we've talked on and off about pretty much all of these commercial projects. So this is the big one. And I actually have been driving over here more often here in the last couple of weeks, just being able to see that we've got these buildings here that are in operation that do have people. These are the county square buildings now. This is where, though, like this picture doesn't do justice to just how big this area is. I'd love to meet somebody who knows more about this specific project. But I mean, this picture shows such a great, it shows like right here is the Grand Bohemian, right here is Main Street. Over here is the Drive Stadium. Like this is just, it's huge, and it is definitely underway. So University Ridge County Square is well on its way. There are so many different big stores going in, a grocery store. The area over here tends to be a little bit of a food desert. So putting in more grocery stores, I think, is really, really nice. Then we have Maverick Yards. This is something that I thought was fun. I actually hadn't heard about this one. So this one's in Malden, and it is being built by the Parker Group. So the Parker Group is a real estate development company here that they do sell some like regular real estate, but they develop and they build. They've built a bunch of townhomes downtown in the past. I've seen those, but it's all mixed use development. This is pickleball courts. There's an inside area, then covered areas, food, drinks, so on. And here it looks like they're proposing walkability. This is just something, again, like they are breaking ground on it. So for pickleball, who knew? Delano. So this is, I've not heard too much about this one yet, but this is a mixed use high rise right next to Unity Park. It'll be interesting. If you've driven over there in the area, you know that they've been working on the roads there. There's just a constant detour around Unity Park. It takes a little bit of time to navigate if you're going that way. But this provides more housing. Specifically, they are going to be focusing on affordable housing. Now, what affordable housing actually ends up looking like and meaning is another thing. But it is something that, it's nice to see it being developed. It's just vacant land at this point. And I do love seeing things that get attached to the Swamp Rabbit Trail. It just makes it more fun to live there whenever you have access to the trail. Then we have Markley in Maine, and another mixed-use development that is right next to Fleur Field downtown. And again, we're looking for more residential. We're looking at businesses. This is just more things downtown Greenville that are enhancing the area, what we're looking for, what we're looking at. And it always amazes me with what they're looking at and the investments that they put into these things. I mean, these plans have been in place for years. This has been a fun one. So this is 250 North Church. This is actually, you see it as you are headed out of Greenville towards 385. And this development, I'm really interested to see what ends up happening here. They are planning on building 2, I think, high-rise towers right there. It's going to be 300 units, And right now they've been digging it out. This corner is, so I'm not sure. So right here, if you go straight, it'll take you over like on this side of things. The Bon Secours Arena is there. And so that's where all the concerts are. And this just, again, it's expanding Greenville downtown's footprint even more. And you will see this as you are driving into downtown Greenville. It's going to be a really fun thing to see. Then we have this. So 301 College Street. And I think this is a terrible picture of this area, because if you look at the other side of this building, this is where you have the really pretty mural that depicts an older woman and several children. And those children are now probably in high school, which is fun. And I know some of their parents. It's been a fun thing to talk about. But this building used to be owned by BB&T, I believe. So it used to be a bank. And what they're looking to do is they're looking to make it a mixture of small businesses and just, again, that mixed use. I think that's an easy way of saying they don't know exactly what's going in there. And this building has been empty for years at this point. So I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with it. They've painted a beautiful mural on it now, but it's kind of like, well, what are they going to do with it? I don't know. We will see. Now this one, most people if you have visited downtown Greenville recently, you will have seen that this building it was one of the more interesting buildings of downtown Greenville. And the front of it was like this weird aqua blue teal color. And it looked like it was just really dirty. So it's exciting to see it get a facelift. And it was known for its teal exterior. So I'm excited to see that this one has gotten its update. But anyways, well, y'all, we had so much to talk about tonight, and I will probably have to move some of the stuff I wanted to talk to next week. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining in. And if you ever want to reach out, or you're like, hey, I want that relocation packet, or would love to talk to you more, Aubree, or maybe you're going to talk to Christy on the team, we would love to chat with you about Greenville. And join us next week, same time, same place. And love our conversation. Invite your friends. I will see you later. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.